going on? All right, here we are, guys. Welcome back to Battle for Angkor. We are here now with DauT versus Nicov, and I am joined by the one and only Resonance22.
Yes, thank you so much, Zach. As always, it's an honor to be here. It's going to be DauT versus Nicov playing on the brand new expansion to Age of Empires 2 HD Edition. That is the Rise of the Rajas, coming out December 19th. Players here will be playing on Arabia, and it looks like they're the Burmese.
Ah, well, I thought that too. And then I checked Nikov's Civ, and I did a little fist bump because he's actually playing as the Malay, which is the first time we're going to see the Malay. So Nicov is playing in the blue to the north of the map, and he is playing as the Malay. We also then, as you said, have DauT down to the south of the map in the red, playing as the Burmese. Now, the map is going to be Arabia, and that's because this was the only map that was left to be chosen by the community. So sorry if you didn't want to see this map, but we will have different maps in different games, and we're going to have a good rotation of the maps, and hopefully a good rotation of the civs as well.
Yeah, and this is a breath of fresh air, as so far in the previous games today, we have really only seen the Burmese and Khmer, and they've only been mirror matches. So now this is the first time that we're going to see the Malay played by these top players. And of course, the thing that defines the Malay, particularly on land maps, is going to be that they advance to the next age 100% faster.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching, I'm going to now show you the Malay bonuses. We can see that they are a naval civilization, which, this is definitely not a water map, but they do get that 100% faster advancement to the next age. They also get a lot of bonuses to their fish and fish traps, which don't apply here, which is kind of interesting. But they also get battle elephants for 20% less, which could certainly come into play this game.
Oh, yeah. The Battle Elephant is a new generic unit that all four new civs have. So it is the Burmese, Khmer, Malay, and Vietnamese. And it's created at the stable, available in the Castle Age. It's weaker than the Persian War Elephant, but it's cheaper and it's faster. And particularly, it is extremely cheap if you're the Malay. They might have a somewhat viable Battle Elephant rush because of that 20% discount. And we mentioned earlier the Khmer get that 15% extra movement speed. So I'm curious to see if we'll see any of that today.
No, I absolutely agree, actually. The Malay, in my opinion, I mean, we spoke earlier, me and Cision, and we said that the other civs, the Battle Elephant's really only viable in the Imperial Age because it takes a huge amount of eco to support Battle Elephant production. But with Malay having 20% cheaper Battle Elephants, it actually means that their elephants cost 96 food and only 56 gold. So this could actually make them viable in the Castle Age, which could be interesting. Now, we have to bear in mind that the Burmese are probably the best monk civ in the game right now, arguably. So there is always that to consider. If you're making these battle elephants, how are you going to be feeling about monks?
Oh, yeah. And that is exactly why all of the Rise of the Raja civs, except the Malay, are missing some key monk technologies, particularly heresy, which means that their battle elephants they're not able to just die when they're converted, so they do end up going to the other side. And essentially, battle elephants are really hard countered by pikemen, monks, and camels, but otherwise can be quite strong and massive in the late game. But what I would kind of expect to see in Arabia, I think, is maybe a drush from Nicov to take advantage of that infantry bonus.
Oh, yeah, potentially. Nicov has the... wait, is that Nicov? Or, I mean, you mean DauT, right?
DauT DauT. Yeah. Oh, God.
DauT obviously gets
the wrong perspective.
Yeah, he gets the +1 attack per age, which could mean that man-at-arms rushing is actually the more viable option here. If we look at DauT's map real quick, actually, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. This looks like he can play this one reasonably defensively. His gold's a little bit sticking out to the left side, but honestly, it's got a fairly easy wall on this right side, and I think with all this back gold for DauT as well, he could be happy to just kind of play a more passive game in the Dark Age, and then when he hits Feudal, maybe make man-at-arms. But I think his map's very suited for a late game kind of situation, actually. I think his only downside is his stone positions.
Yeah, his stone is rather awkwardly placed, particularly his primary stone on the other side of that forest is a little bit weird. But like you mentioned, having two back golds is great. His front gold is okay. And it looks like Nicov is actually going to be doing some walling. One of the strong strategies for the Burmese is usually like either some sort of delayed drush into a men-at-arms rush with watchtowers due to the extra 1 bonus attack they get on their infantry starting in the Feudal Age. We might not see that here, though. It depends, because it looks like Nicov is just closing up his base.
He is, and we do see DauT now making this barracks. It's a little... I was going to say it's slightly late. I think he will... For a Drush, anyway, it's slightly late. I think he's going to force drop these villagers, and he's going to click up to Feudal, and potentially go straight into Man-at-Arms this game. I'm personally a big fan of that, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do here, as he clicks up to Feudal, and then immediately sends one villager out to take gold on this left-hand side. I guess the question is, will Nicov be able to close this?
Oh yeah, he is of course on a timer as the barracks is coming down. This is quite an unfortunate situation for DauT though, because Nicov, he's played a lot of Age of Empires too, so he sent his scout here just the right time to check for that barracks, and he has seen it. So there will be no surprises. He knows the Drush is on the way, and it looks like Nicov will respond with a mining camp of his own. DauT putting down a mining camp as well. It looks like he's definitely going for men-at-arms.
Yeah, Nicov with some big walling as well right here. He definitely wants to get his base closed up in time for DauT's arrival. I think he might be successful as well. If you look at his walls right now, I mean, he's basically fully walled. He's created this choke point towards his town center, so any units that come in here will die to the town center fire, and that's definitely true of Man-at-Arms for sure. DauT, though, I don't know if he's going to get this villager here. He's probably... I don't know. Nikov's sending his scout back, but I don't know. I feel like he could get this villager once he hits Feudal.
What timestamp are you at, by the way?
I'm at 9:54.
9:54. All right. So I will speed it up really slightly to get approximately around then.
Okay.
Anyway, yep. Nicov is up to the Feudal Age now. Here comes the militia, and we are going to see a barracks from Nicov. Is he going to go for archers or perhaps his own... What do you think his game plan is here?
Well, he's throwing down the archery range, so...
okay, there we go, yeah.
He is going to go into archers now, which makes sense. I mean, for the... he's playing as the melee. I have to keep reminding myself of these civs and exactly what they do. You know, he doesn't really have any bonuses that affect him right now. You know, he doesn't really have any bonuses that's going to affect what his decisions are in the Feudal Age. So making archers is fine because archers basically rule the metagame in AOC, and these players are going to be very comfortable with making archers and moving into crossbow. But what we need to look at is what does the archery range look like after the Castle Age for Nicov. For now, it's fine, but is it going to be a long-term plan, or will he be forced to switch into something else?
And we'll have to see. Of course, archers are a fairly natural counter to that men-at-arms unit, since men-at-arms is rather kiteable, and it's just a nice natural transition into the Castle Age with crossbowmen. Some archers coming down for Nicov. DauT does have his men-at-arms trying to apply some pressure, but I don't know how much damage he'll be able to do with that choke point that he's created.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing, right? The +1 attack isn't going to help you if you're just going to get kited anyway. These archers will kill these men-at-arms in time, and yeah, unfortunately for DauT not being so successful there, but I'm wondering if DauT's plan is really just to keep the map control, because we can't forget, the Burmese do get to see where all the relics are on the map. I'm going to put on DauT's Fog of War right now so you guys can see, but he can see where the relics are right at the start of the game, and, you know, for DauT here, he might want to try and keep the map control in his favor, so that once he does get to Castle, he can quite easily collect those relics without too much fear of being, you know, sending his monks into the unknown. But keeping map control is easier said than done, and I do think that sending those men-at-arms out was intended to keep Nicov occupied at home, but Nicov with a fairly quick reaction so far.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the nice things about being the melee, is that you are able to advance the ages significantly faster, making sure that he has plenty of time to respond to his opponent with archers. So right now, I'm at approximately 1358, and I see that DauT is mixing in skirm as well as a couple archers into his own army. These players are going to try to conserve their food a little bit at this point, lay off the men-at-arms, and just try and transition to archers so they can get to the Castle Age.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm at 1410 right now, so I don't know if you're a little ahead of me. I sped things up slightly to catch up there. But yeah, I mean, things at the moment fairly quiet as both players just kind of slowly and surely building up. I actually like Nikov's position right now, to be honest. I think he feels fairly safe in this position. And, you know, with that advancing to the next stage being twice as fast, it really does kind of make defending versus early aggression very, very strong. I mean, you saw it here. He was able to get to Feudal and start getting archers out by the time those men-at-arms arrived, which is very good. And yeah, I think that's going to obviously have a nice early game impact, but he could also be faster to castle because of that. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. But for now, just making purely archers. Nicov feeling pretty comfortable, I think, and DauT starting to wall up a little more as well. It looks like these guys are kind of digging their trenches and building their walls for the long game here.
That they are indeed. DauT completing multiple economic upgrades, wheelbarrow research finished, fletching just finished for him. He's camping this hill, of course, to make sure that he has the elevation advantage when this army arrives. Nicov is preparing to move out, but DauT has the right side of his base walled off, as well as most of the left side. I think we're about to see a fight.
Oh yeah, I'm at 16 minutes and 10 seconds, so I don't know if you're ahead of me or not. I mean, this is a problem with playing recorded games back.
I will slow down very, very slightly. Okay. We'll just occasionally say the timestamp, but this fight is about to begin.
Yeah, DauT's going to scout it with that single man-at-arm there, and I'm wondering how much army he actually has. It is deceptive, because he does have a lot of the units inside of the archery range, and I actually think he has the edge here, to be honest, because he does have the the skirmishers even, mixed in, and that's going to send Nicov running away. So far, defending quite easily, and it's very neck and neck right now, I feel.
That it is, but this giant hill at the front of DauT's base could come to bite him later, as units that have a hill advantage do deal 25% extra damage and take 25% less. Nicov going to juke over to the right, whereas it looks like DauT is just going to go straight for Nikov's own base, but he might be able to intercept one of Nikov's own groups of archers.
Yeah, this is pretty nice, actually. He can cut these guys off and do a lot of damage, and this is going to secure him a decent lead at this stage, because this army from Nicov, although it might come in and kill a villager, that's pretty nice. DauT should be able to deal with this remaining army, but
oh god, there's always a hole in the wall. Oh, every time.
There's always a hole. Nicov coming in and getting 2 villagers there. I thought DauT had put some, some building work into that palisade, but nope, Nicov can walk straight in. But he doesn't commit. He immediately falls back because he would be at the bottom of that hill if he committed, and he doesn't know where DauT is right now. DauT could easily trap him inside of DauT's base, and so Nicov doesn't want to overcommit to that. He just wants to make sure he's done some damage and he gets out. But now, DauT with the larger army and a little bit of micro here. He's fighting uphill, but it doesn't matter. He's got sheer numbers advantage, and Nikov's going to get cleaned up.
It wouldn't be a co-cast with ZeroEmpires if there wasn't a hole in the wall. And oh man, I think the DauT reacted to that situation so well. He immediately retreated, full well knowing, like you said, that if Nicov wanted to commit, that he would be bottled in there at a hill disadvantage. And DauT just comes in from behind and cleans up that entire army. That is devastating for Nicov.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and now DauT's going to be able to maintain, in theory, this military lead, which means that Nicov either needs to add another archery range, or add a siege workshop, or make skirmishers to try and add some counter units in there. Of course, he's not in the Castle Age yet, so he can't do a siege workshop, and DauT for now should be able to maintain his advantage. It also looks like DauT will be faster to the Castle Age as well. He does have his economy in a little bit of a better position than Nicov right now, and I honestly feel like DauT's looking great. The question is, will he be able to do some eco damage back to Nicov to compensate for the 2 villagers which he lost on the berries and on that wall earlier on?
Yeah, DauT looking quite strong here with a fairly sizable military lead. Like you just said, he does also have a slight economic advantage too, so he's poised to advance the Castle Age quite shortly. If I swap back to his perspective, he actually does have enough money to afford it. Nicov, around halfway there, does have to defend. He was probing around looking for a weakness in DauT's defenses, but DauT is all closed up. Right now, DauT is trying to get some economic damage in.
Oh yeah, and he can attack these walls and bring them down fairly slowly, but he is ultimately still bringing them down. And this is the nice thing about having archers, right? You can't go and repair your wall because the archers will just go and kill the villager that tries to defend it. So it looks to me like DauT will take down this palisade, and he will be able to break through into Nikov's base. But could it be a trap? Could it be a ruse? Does Nicov want DauT to come into his base? Because look what's approaching from behind.
Oh, this is exciting stuff. We're seeing basically reverse of the position before, where now Nicov wants DauT to come inside his own base, where he has the hill advantage. DauT not quite bottled in here. He will actually be able to barely escape this engagement. So Well played from DauT. Did not box himself in by going inside Nikov's base there.
That was actually a good read from DauT. He could have easily gone through that. I'm wondering actually if there is a hole there. I assume there is. I mean, it could have just been a stroke of luck that actually there wasn't a hole in the wall, because it could have just been an extra palisade. I don't know, but I'm almost certain there was a hole there, and DauT could have walked in, but he instead came down to the south, didn't get trapped inside, and he's actually going to come out on top once again here, I feel. But there you go, Nicov already castle, and DauT is still advancing, even though DauT clicked up to the castle age way before Nicov.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I was going to mention earlier that DauT had just clicked up to the Castle Age, but it doesn't matter when you're playing versus the Malay. He gets to the Castle Age first, and now DauT kind of on the back foot. He does have a slight military advantage, but he does have to watch out for that crossman upgrade, which is presumably coming. It is on the way.
It's on the way, but yeah, I feel like Nikov's made a huge mistake here, right? He engaged too early.
Yeah. This is going to really, really punish him, as he has the upgrade advantage, which is huge. This is something you really have to take advantage of when you're playing the Malay, because this is your economic bonus. It's just that he doesn't have the military now to back it up. He has the crossman upgrade, but he has so few military units. DauT with padded archer armor and a couple of skirmishers will be able to hold the line, but he is going to back up, it looks like.
Yeah, honestly, right there, Nicov made a crucial mistake in fighting too early. If he'd have waited just until that Castle Age or that crossbow upgrade came in, he would have been able to take a much better fight. As a result, he's lost a lot of his units, and DauT now has a larger army, and he has the upgrade advantage because he has got that +1 defense on his crossbow, which Nicov does not have. Nicov now, I think he needs a siege workshop, and, well, speak of the devil, there it is.
Yep, absolutely good call there. I do believe in a situation like this, and your opponent has a large army of ranged units and you are behind, that the Mangonel is the ultimate comeback mechanic. So it's just going to take a good Mangonel shot to get Nicov to claw his way back in the game. Nicov does get a couple free kills here of some of DauT's crossbows. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, and I think right now, this Mangonel, it's going to come down to how effective this is, really. If you can get a couple of nice shots, this can really turn the game around. And that's one of the things I really like about the Mangonel in this game. It has the potential to completely flip the game on its head. Your opponent's got a lot of crossbows, and they're really far ahead, but it just takes one good Mangonel shot, and you can completely switch it over into your favor. And also, since the Mangonel is such a good defensive unit, you can actually defend with the Mangonel while you counterattack with your army. But I think Nikov's actually coming to wrap around here.
Looks like that is exactly what he's doing. Another thing I like about the Mangonel is it's very interactive on both sides. Your opponent is definitely able to juke those shots, and well, Nicov is trying to box DauT in, but he just does not have the military for this. Both players with an additional town center, so they're relatively even on economy, but it's that military discrepancy that's going to bite Nicov. He needs that Mangonel, and it's inching forward. Oh, we'll get a shot.
Well, you're a little ahead of me. I'm waiting for the shot. I'm waiting for the shot.
I'm at 2:45. At 26:45.
Oh, I'm at 26:53.
Okay, I'm just.
How? What?
Right.
I thought you. Okay. I was confused
Don't
there.
Don't die, Zach.
I'm trying not to. I'm still recovering from this cough, but I've been okay today. Right now, Nicov actually has 13 ranged units. DauT, on the other hand, has 28, so a huge advantage.
God.
But DauT does not have these Mangonels here, and Nicov, with a couple of good shots, can turn it around. So DauT, quite rightfully, retreating, I think, right here.
At 27:35, I see Nicov getting mopped up a bit, trying to bait DauT to commit to this as the two Mangonels inching forward. And I mean inching. They are so slow. As long as DauT just doesn't get caught by this Mangonel shot, he should be fine. And that could flip this game around. They're getting so close to being in range.
Oh,
and now they are.
There you go. That's a big shot right there. DauT taking a huge hit. And I don't know what he was doing going back. He needed to just go back home, not back in towards the Mangonels. And, well, that's exactly what we're talking about. One shot killing about 6 or 7 archers there. They were all quite low as well, so they were easy kills. And I think Nicov can feel comfortable pushing forwards. And as he does this, I hear back at DauT's base, a siege workshop of his own now coming up as well. But let's see what these Mangonels can do. It's certainly enough to scare DauT away, as he doesn't fancy his chances out microing 2 Mangonels at once here.
One shot, one kill. What an absolutely devastating Mangonel shot on the part of Nicov. So well played for him. Now the game is kind of even back a bit. These 2 Mangonels, though, they could be killed by just a single Mangonel of DauT. DauT has 2 of them queued up. They are moving the line forward. This is quite a dicey situation for both of them. We do not have padded archer armor yet for Nicov, but we'll have to see if that matters. University for DauT, did he get ballistics?
Potentially. I mean, the university pretty early on, actually. I can't help but feel like the university looks quite a lot like the market in this game. It caught me out a couple of times already. I keep thinking it's a market, but no, it's a university. We can find out if he's got ballistics by looking at the tech tree. Maybe you could do that for me while I cast the action here.
Right.
So Nicov pressuring this right-hand side. DauT right now, as we can see, up to 3 TCs, so his economy's ticking over nicely. The question is, will he defend from this aggression? I think that he's got a very good defense here. He's got 2 mangonels of his own. He's got the hill as well, which is working in his favor for a change. And that's going to be a mangonel for a mangonel, with the help of a couple of crossbows. And Nicov may be wanting to retreat now, but oh, one shot kind of misses here. DauT trying to close the gap, and oh, that's a nice shot from Nicov. DauT, though, still using the wide formation, but tanking these shots. This is not too good for DauT. The question is, will he be able to take down this mangonel? Yes, he will. And I think now DauT has the advantage, and Nicov will want to retreat. So does DauT have ballistics?
Oh, it does indeed look like he has ballistics, and wow, that mangonel living that shot from Nicov was quite important with only 10 HP remaining, perhaps in part due to the elevation difference. Nicov now forced to turn around, and we have a really neck-and-neck close game. I'm really enjoying this one.
Absolutely, and of course, the longer this game goes, the more likely we're going to be able to see some of those new units, the unique units, and the battle elephants as well. I mean, I'm interested to see how that plays out. Now, look at this, over on the left side, Nikov's walling. He's actually about to find his starting sheep at 32 minutes of game time.
Oh man, we've all been there.
Well, I think he's actually already scouted them, but he's not picked them up. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to be any use to him now anyway.
Yeah, at this point, they'd make a negligible impact in his economy at best. The ballistics upgrade for DauT is certainly helpful. It basically means that once you get ballistics in these crossbowmen or like war galley fights, that your opponent just can't really run away from you anymore. And I see some skirmishers approaching. Another mangonel on the way. Nicov building a forward mining camp. We might see a fight soon, but I think that this favors Nicov. It's just going to come down to some good control.
Yeah, I don't know if DauT may be lifting his foot off the gas a little bit with archer production. It doesn't look like he's making that many crossbows. I mean, he is queuing them up now, but I'm wondering if he did lift his foot for a moment, because he doesn't seem to have all that many new ones. Nicov actually getting pretty aggressive with this forward siege workshop, and we like forwards. That's always fun. Right now, though, DauT going to try and cling to his hill. Which means that this mangonel, it's a decent shot, but ultimately not doing a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, thank God for that hill advantage for DauT, or that could have been quite dicey. Both mangonels firing a shot at each other, but I'd see right now that Nikov's is going to live with 3 HP and then just get sniped, but he gets a return shot. So once again, Nicov pulling ahead. He has a very significant army advantage, but a second mangonel on the way.
Yeah, DauT's mangonel hitting a nice shot there, and I think once again, in the face of these mangonels, Nicov wants to get the hell out of there. They're absolutely destroying his crossbow. That's another nice little shot there, grabbing 3 or 4 at the back. There's no way. There's no way Nicov wants to fight this, especially not uphill, especially not against 2 mangonels. And I think now Nicov needs to consider getting himself a few more mangonels out, but that's going to cost him quite a lot of gold, and he's got enough food to go Imperial. So maybe for Nicov, going to Imperial now would be the best choice, and just play a defensive game for a little while here. I think you're a little bit behind me, by the way. I'm at 3506.
3506? Okay, I'm actually just about... I've been trying to pick up cues from you, like when you say the forward siege workshop. So I think I'm exactly on the same time as you right now.
All right.
Now, speaking of the Imperial Age, the Malay can get there in half that time, and he is so close to being able to afford it. This could be huge, but we see momentum swinging back and forth continuously during this game. Elite Skirmisher upgrade now down for Nicov, which of course got a slight discount in patch 4.8 as part of the balance changes. And now Nicov on his way to the Imperial Age.
Yeah, I think
look at that tech go.
I actually think what's interesting here is that DauT clicked Imperial at exactly the same time. I just watched DauT and Nicov. I think DauT clicked Imperial about a second at most later. So they both clicked Imp at the same time, but we're going to see Nicov just absolutely storming his way up to that Imperial Age. He's halfway there already, whilst DauT is sitting at 25%. So Nicov really going to take advantage? Well, is he though? I mean, this is the thing. Is Nicov really going to take advantage of this? How much impact will it really have? We'll have to wait and see if those upgrades come in and what impact they have once he gets there. But looking at the tech tree just briefly, because obviously new civs, we got to accustom ourselves to that. The melee do get arbalest, so it looks like he will be going down that full archer route for now. And I want to see some Karambit warriors, because there's a castle coming up from Nicov in the center of the map.
Oh yeah, we might actually see them. That's a nicely positioned forward castle on that hill. Bunch of elite skirmishers for Nicov. So in a straight up fight, he will absolutely decimate DauT. And now Nicov up to the Imperial Age defensive castle for DauT on his own hill, trying to potentially get out some Arambai maybe. This castle is actually not finished quite in time. We're going to see a bit of a fight, but there's a mangonel here.
Yeah, the mangonel could be huge,
it's not
but
moving.
I don't know. What's it doing? Is it on...
It's not moving.
Come on, DauT, wake up. There we go. Surely now he'll realize. There you go. He's moving it. But I think the castle will complete. Maybe. Yeah, Nikov's going back. He could. Okay. He could have committed there and actually stopped this castle, but he would have risked losing a lot of his units there to the mangonel. And there it is, the beautiful castle. Absolutely love this castle. This is by far my favorite castle out of all the expansions, all of the variants. I love this one. But I'm interested to see, will DauT make some Arambai? Yes, he will. Here they come.
And this could be potentially a rather big mistake, is one thing that we learned in testing, as we see a big battle going on right now, is that the Arambai unit is very weak to massed enemy archers with a rather pitiful pierce armor stat, and the Burmese are the only civ in the game that does not get the ring archer armor, as well as the... So they don't get the Castle Age archer armor and the Imperial Age archer armor upgrade, so the Arambai just kind of disintegrate.
Yeah, we did go over the tech tree earlier, and we were talking about this a lot. The Arambai, I don't know how I feel about that. I think that, that the Arambai has a really high attack, right? Ooh. But,
yes,
this is actually a decent fight for DauT here.
That was a good
really good fight. He's got another one. Wow, DauT, great fight right here for him. The thing is, though, for the Burmese, they don't get the arbalest. So, I mean, right now, DauT may as well fight this before the upgrades come in for Nicov any further. Get the most value out of these crossbows as you can before they inevitably die. But yeah, I was saying the Arambai, it has got a really high attack. But is that really useful versus ranged units that have low health? I mean, you're just going to be overkilling the enemy units, like, by a long way.
Absolutely true. And the Burmese do have a total crap archer range. Like you said, with no arbalest, they're missing so many archer armor upgrades. So at this point, DauT has to transition to something else. He's picking the Arambai unit. There are a lot of interesting things about this. The Arambai is much better against like close massed melee targets, and much better when masked, because it's very inaccurate at range. And at least the missed darts can still do some damage. They're really bad versus ranged units, as we see them just unable to kill those elite skirmishers after so many volleys, but they do finally get them. Trebuchet being deployed, Nicov applying quite a bit of pressure on DauT, but I think this might be a mistaken unit choice. He is at least mixing in some elite skirmishers, though.
Yeah, I mean, what DauT's other options here? I mean, I think, personally, adding in some of those elephants right now would actually be a good choice for DauT. I mean, the Burmese, they do... not have... Wait, do they have any bonuses to their elephants? I don't think they do. They get their unique technology, which gives them bonus
They get extra armor.
But that works in this situation, right? You can start adding some elephants. They just kind of act as a little bit of a sponge to soak up these skirm and arbalest fire. Nicov, though, sieging this castle, and right now DauT really has no answer to this. It's 3 trebs versus 0, as DauT's trying to bring out his trebuchet now. Siege Workshop going up as well, though, and I think we'll probably see some rams coming out from him. And also, there's the stables on the right-hand side. Yeah. So I really hope from DauT we do start to see some of these elephants coming out. It does make sense in this situation. For Nicov, I think at this stage, actually going for some Karambit warriors isn't a bad shout if you want to go and disrupt your opponent's economy. He could start raiding, but for the time being, the castle is used to make trebs, because you know what I always say, once the trebs are popping, the castles are dropping.
And that they are, as this castle is just about to die. Gonna take one more shot. Oh god, he's repairing it to the best of his ability. It looks like light cavalry on the way for DauT. But these are going to be significantly better than the Arambai. I agree. I think that the Battle Elephant would be an excellent sponge here, especially with Howda giving it that extra +2 Pierce armor. Whereas I feel like Nikov's unit choice so far has just been absolutely perfect with the Arbalest for melee as well as the Elite Skirmishers. They just have a very strong archer range. Capt Ram's moving in. DauT doesn't really have a clear answer to this outside of his light cavalry, but he is kind of holding the line despite losing that castle.
Yep, you know what I'm feeling right now? I'm actually feeling like the melee are very similar to the Vikings. You know, this is exactly the kind of unit composition you'd see from the Vikings. Arbalest, some Capt Rams, and maybe some Onagers as well. You know, they're not really a land civ. They're mostly a water civ. And I guess that they're really fast advancing to the next stage kind of works as a decent eco bonus to getting the eco upgrades much faster as well. Which is you know, similar to the Vikings having the wheelbarrow handcart for free.
And also similar to the Vikings, the Malay don't really have that much in the realm of super high impact late game units. You know, they don't have paladins. They do have elite battle elephants. It's just that their battle elephants and cavalry units, they have one of the worst stables in the game, missing 2 of the cavalry armor upgrades. So those things also just kind of melt in the later stages of the game. So that's why I like to see Nicov kind of putting, you know, like you said, an emphasis on his archer range units, his siege weapons. They do get bombard cannons, maybe mixing some infantry, and DauT sustaining heavy losses. Oh,
absolutely. The Arambai not being very effective at all, even though DauT has upgraded them to elite as well. I really don't agree with that decision from him. To be honest, I don't think they're going to be too effective at all. I think what DauT is looking at right now is, wow, they have 20 attack damage. This is great. What he's not seeing is how inaccurate they are. And with all these bombard cannons coming out for Nicov, I just don't think DauT is going to be able to hold this. And Nicov will start to siege this hill once this last trebuchet is down. DauT, what is his plan here? What's his fallback? What's his economy looking like? What can he potentially support? Right now, he's got a lot of gold, but not a huge amount of food.
Yeah, he actually has almost 2,000 gold in the bank. He's at 1,900 right now, and he's just not really spending it on that much. The light cavalry are nice and all, but I feel like those could be ideally battle elephants or knights or something. It's just he doesn't quite have the food to support this. I think he, like you said, he looked at the Elite Arambai and he didn't quite... Well, he sees it has 2 pierce armor, but really it's just awful versus ranged units. It's the type of thing that you need to use to deal with massed melee units.
Okay, so I was just wondering why DauT might have so much more gold and such a big imbalance. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world. It's unusual that you would expect to see that kind of player have a huge eco imbalance, but it makes sense when you look at his monastery. The Burmese taking full advantage of that monastery, and there you go. He's collected 4 out of 5 relics, with the 5th relic being visible over here as well. He could go and grab that also. So right now, I mean, DauT, he's got so much gold. He just needs something to pair it with, and he's got a lot of wood, but what units does he really go for that cost wood and gold in this situation? What's his siege looking like? Could he potentially go for some onagers in this situation, which could be huge?
You know, that is a good idea. I like the idea of maybe mixing in some onagers or some bombard cannons as a way to at least try and slow down this push, but really the Arambai are just kind of a waste of resources at this point and not really going to accomplish too much. Good point about the monastery, taking full advantage of that Burmese team bonus, putting down another castle here defensively. I think he just needs to transition into other units. Iron casting research complete. I just think that his unit comp is just not efficient enough here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, okay, Onager would work against these massed arbalest, but not against the bombard cannons, so it's a problem. I honestly really don't like this castle. I understand why he's put it there. He's put it there because he needs to defend his front line, but it's at the bottom of this hill, and if Nicov has this hill, with all of this siege, that castle will not stand for very long at all. I feel like DauT slowly but surely being pressured and starved into this corner, and we see on the right side, Nicov will grab that final relic as well with that monastery that's just come up over there. So no 5 relics for DauT, but you know, at least DauT has those 4 relics to fall back on. It is something, and here we go now. This is actually good for DauT. He will take out the bombard cannon. Will he have enough to break this? There's honestly not that much here from Nicov in terms of arbalest. I think DauT can actually push this back.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but Nicov does not have a fairly large army, so even though DauT's military units are not necessarily optimal for the situation, he's actually handling this quite nicely. It's really like these elite skirmishers just melt with only padded archer armor, and the Arambai not so good versus the mass range units, but a lot of light cavalry moving in here. Will Nicov get pushed back?
Well, this is the thing. Nicov has 200 population right now, while DauT is sitting on 178. I think maybe Nicov has a little bit too much economy, potentially. I would expect to see a larger army from him, and actually these Arambai on the hill working pretty well. I think DauT is actually slowly but surely pushing this one back. This is a really nice game so far.
That it is. Bombard cannon for DauT. I wonder if he converted that one. He's still just matching up those elite Arambai. This might not be the optimal use of them, but they are still doing a reasonable amount of damage. If it wasn't for those cap rams, I think Nicov would have lost all of his army. Wow. Yeah. Those trebuchets are slowly going down.
Slowly but surely. You know, I'm actually curious. Do you think that the Burmese skirmisher might be one of the worst in the game? Or does it not matter as much that they don't have the defense? Because normally in the Imperial Age, units are getting overkilled anyway.
That is a really good question. Something that I'd have to test quite a bit is how it compares to like a fully upgraded regular skirmisher. But I imagine that missing all of the armor upgrades matters a lot more when you're fighting an army of Arbalists than it does compared to really anything else. Well, in a situation like this, but look at DauT. Yeah.
This is
He's
awesome.
Pushing this back.
Yeah, it really is. The Arambai, I don't know really how effective they are being. I don't know if it's more the skirmishers and the fact that he's got the hill here. But Nicov has no siege left apart from these 2 rams, which certainly aren't going to be pushing down these buildings. DauT still has 2 castles. He's still got reasonable amount of gold as well as those 4, oh my god, on the left side, the Karambit warriors, they're coming out.
Oh my god, it's finally happening. We're seeing both unique units from both civilizations. Here comes the Karambit warrior, costs only half a population. It's incredibly cheap, incredibly weak, and it is just the quintessential raiding unit. Going to do so much damage to this lumber camp. The 2 elite Arambai are going to hang out here and spaz out in typical HD fashion. Will they throw a dart?
Well, they're going to throw some darts. The question is, will they hit them? I think that's the question. Nicov right now, the Karambit warrior. Okay, look, this is an elite Karambit warrior. It only has 40 health and 10 attack. But as Rez quite rightly said, it only takes half a population. So 2 Karambit warriors equals 1 population, which means that if you really wanted to, with 200 population, you could probably squeeze out 400 Karambit warriors, which is insane. And it kind of makes up for the fact that they are so weak and they are so cheap. But look at this. DauT defending with his Arambai fairly well. However, did lose a lot of villagers over on this wood line. And that could be a problem going forward as the raiding from Nicov could really disrupt things.
I absolutely cannot believe that he is holding the line on multiple fronts, despite being raided so very heavily. And I have to attribute quite a bit of this to not only the hill advantage, the hill that I thought would bite him in the butt is actually the one that's saving him, and also the fact that he has 4 relics generating so much income as DauT very low in gold right now. And if we swap over to Nikov's perspective, he's also very low on gold, but he doesn't have that stable gold income of his own.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time until the remaining gold mines are gone. I actually would go as far as to say as we're down to the last gold mine now on the left side, and it looks like DauT actually ready to push forward. So as this game goes on, I feel like DauT will slowly start pulling ahead even, and we've seen it already. His defense has worked really well. He's got these massed skirms, which, yeah, they lack the final defense, but they're still shredding this army from Nicov on the front. I'm just curious to see what Nicov will be able to do with these Karambit warriors. Will he actually get much value out of them? Or will they just kind of flop and fail a bit?
Well, so far they haven't accomplished too much, but thankfully they are a very small investment. DauT behind in score, but just slowly pushing ahead in the middle. The left side of the map, DauT's probably going to lose this wood line, which is going to be a minor blow to his economy. He's trying to do his own raiding with light cavalry, but Nicov does have stone walls all around his base. And while we see the middle of the map clearly in favor of DauT, but the left-hand side going to Nicov.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I feel like the middle of the map right now is potentially the most important part. But you're quite right. The raiding is coming in on both sides. DauT actually throwing down a couple of stables out here, which he will use to raid with light cavalry. On the left side, Nicov... yeah, he's got a good number of Karambits out, and I think this is the thing with the Karambits. They might be weak, but as Cision was talking about Lanchester's laws earlier, the sheer number of them can really swing the battle in your favor. Just because you outnumber your enemy so hard, you can surround them a lot easier, and you can potentially kill them a lot easier as well.
Oh yeah, one of the nice things about Karambit warriors is how easy it is for your opponent to actually overkill them because there are just so many of them all over the place. And they also spawn almost instantly too, so they're just a nice, army that you need in a pinch. Just add water. The Arambai, though, are excellent versus the Karambit warriors, as
Yes.
they are melee units that die in basically just 2 hits to these darts.
I actually
You're
think
see a
that
small fight.
I was gonna say, I actually think that the Arambai is a natural counter to these units anyway. Like,
Yes.
like seriously, they're so good against them. But at this point, look at the middle of the map. DauT is losing it, and he's actually losing population as well. He's down to 165 pop. On the left side, he's trying to defend out here with these remaining Arambai, but he can't really afford to make too many more of them. So they might be good, but if you can't afford them, they're not going to be effective.
Yeah, he's got 5,000 wood in the bank, but not quite enough food to produce what he needs, and I think that's negatively impacting his unit production. Now the shoe's on the other foot yet again, momentum switching. Nicov moving the line forward, and if he gets to park on that hill, then that could be the game for DauT. But all is not lost yet. Maybe he has an opportunity to get a pushback here if he can mass up his units. I also think he's just falling behind a bit because, once again, the unit choice isn't super efficient, except the Arambai versus the Karambit warriors. He only has padded armor in these elite skirmishers. So I imagine he's sustaining a lot of losses.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's playing against Nikov's skirms here, which have +4/+4, while his own have +4/+1. So that's an extra 3 damage from each arrow that Nicov is able to tank, or javelin, I should say. And he's also bringing in the cap rams as well, which means he should be starting to win this fight on the front. DauT's raiding, he's tried it. It didn't really work out too well. He's not done a huge amount. Whoa, okay. I take that back. Look at the very corner of the map in the north.
Oh, whoa!
Jeez.
Wow, I actually missed that entirely.
Yeah, that's a lot of Devils right there. That's really good for DauT. But I mean, what I'm saying really is that we don't see a huge amount of this raiding. It's like 1 or 2 light cavalry going in every now and then. Really, I think he's focused on defending this center, and this left side's already gone now. Nicov has that; it's his.
Yeah, he's just done so much damage to Nikov's economy, and yet Nicov has plenty of food in the bank. Doesn't really need to worry too much about losing all those farmers. DauT falling so far behind just has nothing but wood. And one of the interesting things about the Malay is that they actually have bombard cannons with siege engineers, which is interesting for a civilization that seems to favor like the quantity over quality approach. And they'd like to swarm their opponent. But I think that that's huge for the civilization, and it allows them to actually get these pushes off and apply the pressure they need to close out a game. And we can see that in effect here as DauT just steadily losing ground on every side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On the left side, he's lost it. On the right side now, the raid's coming in as well with some skirms and some, well, basically just trash. But if it works, it's not broken. Nicov trying to hold the front. I think DauT switching his army back to here. And I think this is the problem for Nicov now. He's very spread out, isn't he? He's pushing on the left, he's pushing on the right, he's pushing in the middle, and he can't really just conclusively or decisively win one side. He's a bit too split for that.
The only saving grace for DauT this game, besides Nicov being spread out, is, of course, the long game. DauT has the ability to attrition this game with 4 relics in the bank. He just has to survive long enough to get there. And he is building more farms, so slowly adjusting his economy. Some trebuchets are on the way.
Oh, nice.
He's stalling. He's stalling.
Yeah, I mean, the Trebs at this stage, I mean, you're going to be feeling fairly confident making Trebs right now. Skirms are going to do absolutely nothing against them, and if your opponent doesn't have any gold, they can't counter your Trebs very easily anyway, either. It seems like Nikov's given up on the Karambit warriors, though. He doesn't seem to be making any of them at all. Maybe because he can't afford them, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they only cost 10 gold each, right?
You are absolutely correct. It is only 10 gold apiece, and I believe 25 food. I think that they would be a really good unit to make, except we aren't dealing with the Burmese. And, we talked about this earlier, the Arambai just being a fairly natural counter to that. On the right side, DauT holding the line, trying to put up a little bit of a stone wall. Nicov swinging around the left side of that forest, and on the left side of the map, it's... Well, DauT has 3 cap rams, so it looks like he's trying to go for a counterattack. I'm at 103.30.
I'm at 103.41. Great.
Okay, all right, let's skip ahead very slightly.
Yeah, so, I mean, right now, actually, it's very back and forth, to be honest. I mean, Nicov was really pushing in on this left side. He was pushing in on the right, and now DauT's defended it, but Nicov making a switch. He's switching into two-handed swordsman, and I'm wondering if Champion's even on the way. I don't think he can afford Champion. No, he can't. He's just sticking with two-handed swordsman here. Good choice, to be honest.
Actually, the Malay, near the end of the beta, we actually took away their champion and gave them plate mail armor in exchange, which is kind of a, it's a buff to their halberdiers, their Karambit warriors. And so now they have two-handed swordsmen, and they have very strong two-handed swordsmen with the forced levy technology. That means that they only cost food. So if there is a time for that technology to be good, it's here.
Holy crap, I totally forgot about that. Melee, yeah, unique technology, forced levy. It's the Imperial Age unique technology. It removes the gold cost for champions, which means, the militia line. So these two-handed swordsmen cost him no gold. That's perfect for this situation. Two-handed swordsmen, fantastic at dealing with skirms because they can tank them quite effectively. And yeah, that obviously explains why they don't have the champion upgrade. Two-handed swordsmen are pretty strong as it is when they don't cost any gold. So two-handed swordsman, essentially a trash unit for Nicov now, and I'm so glad we get to see this in action, to be honest.
Oh yeah, and it's a trash unit that eats other trash units for breakfast. The two-handed swordsman just destroys all forms of elite skirmishers, halberdiers, and hussars. So DauT's going to be in a lot of trouble. I mentioned that he might be able to attrition this game, but not when forced levy comes into play. Great to see that from Nicov. It's such a good technology in general. But in this specific game, this is one of the best applications for it I've ever seen.
Oh my god, there's two-handed swordsmen all over the map. This is actually, like, game-winning for Nicov. Like, how much does that technology cost? How much is forced levy?
I think it's 1,000 food, 600 gold. If I remember that correctly, you can tell I've been playing way too much Age of Empires.
I'm going to check the tech tree real quick. We will check it. Forced levy, yeah, 1,000 food, 600 gold. The investment is huge. The investment is very high, but I think it's more than worth it. Honestly, at this stage, two-handed swordsmen are going to dominate this game. What is DauT going to do to counter this? I think the answer is Iron Buy, but how can he afford them?
Yeah, he might have 4 relics in the bank, but that's just not enough. The two-handed swordsmen, like you mentioned, are a colossal investment on the part of Nicov from a resource perspective before he really starts saving money. And this game has been going on for plenty long enough. It is absolutely worth it. A couple more Karambit warriors on the way. It looks like Nicov will be making maybe the game-winning decision here with the forced levy technology. Great of him to recognize that he has that at his disposal.
Absolutely. I mean, this is one of the best games we've seen so far. Well, no, who are we kidding? This is the best game we've seen so far by a landslide. This is awesome. And we can see DauT actually making as many Arambai as he can. Look at this. Both castles queued up as much as possible. He's going to try and get as many Arambai as he possibly can here because I genuinely feel like they are the answer to the two-handed swordsman in this game. That's his only option to deal with them. As Nicov breaks the line on the right side and comes into DauT's economy, forcing a lot of ills away from food. And that could be a problem.
Oh, I completely agree with you here. I think the Arambai is the way to go. It is the natural counter in this matchup to all of these cheap infantry units. It eats those two-handed swordsmen. That's what this unit was made for. And we can see it just shredding them on the right side of DauT's base. He just needs to keep the Arambai production up. Yeah. Is this game not over?
No, this is awesome. This is awesome because DauT is actually pushing forward on the front at the same time. He's defended himself with the Arambai at home, and now he's got a good number of skirms, a few light cavalry, and more Arambai on the front with this Treb. He's taking down Nikov's castle.
This game is absolutely crazy, and what an honor it is to be here today. I cannot believe it. DauT is not dead. What a miracle worker. The Arambai really just pulling their own weight.
Of course, I mean, this would not be possible if DauT didn't have those relics. I mean, those relics are completely game-changing for DauT in the same way that those two-handed swordsmen for Nicov give him a chance at prolonging this game and holding DauT off. But honestly, right now, with these Arambai in play, and with DauT actually starting to mass them up, I mean, I can't give you an exact number, but I can even. He's got 24 Arambai right now. That's a really good count, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really
major props decision of the Forgotten Empires team for designing these civs. This is such an entertaining match and such a close one, too. Both of these civs have the tools to deal with each other, and it's great to see them actually being utilized here. DauT moving the line forward, chewing right through this army of units. These two-handed swordsmen taking so much damage.
Yeah, and they're just getting destroyed. And you know what? The light cavalry in this situation works so well as well, because they act as a little bit of a meat shield for these Arambai. So they work, obviously, to chew through the skirms. But when the two-handed swordsmen are fighting the light cavalry, that is the exact situation that DauT wants.
Oh, yeah. And it's this Burmese team bonus that has been so strong. with 4 relics. He's generated so much gold. I can't wait to see how much he's actually generated. A couple two-handed swordsmen actually in the bottom right corner of DauT's base, killing a couple villagers, which is being obnoxious. But DauT moving the line forward.
Yeah, DauT swung this massively. DauT might not be at 200 pop. He's currently at 173, but Nicov, for the first time this game, struggling to keep his population up. He's dropped down to 150. Bear in mind that he has more units than that since he has got some Karambit warriors, but he is falling behind right now. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. And his economy is in tatters. Seriously, Nikov's economy is screwed. Look at this. There's nothing going on here. Nothing at all. And DauT is just walking all over this. I'm loving this right now. I'm wondering if DauT is going to bother doing his unique technology to give +6 attack versus buildings for cavalry.
This is some PGG farms here, in case anyone actually gets that reference. Nikov's economy is very bad, and it's about to get worse as he just lost his lumber camp. Really, like you said, nothing going on in his base at all. I wonder if mana per cavalry has already been researched. It gives all cavalry units +6 attack versus buildings. So many losses for Nicov. By the way, that bonus also applies to Arambai.
Yes, it applies to the Arambai, which makes them just absolutely brutal versus buildings here, which is a big deal actually, because you can take down your opponent's production. So even if they've got economy to support unit production, if they haven't got the buildings, it's useless. I love this. Nikov's town center and the sort of center right, just kind of just there. It's so funny. But right now, I think DauT, he's closing this game out. Honestly, he is really far ahead now. He's disrupted Nikov's economy so much, and he's just openly raiding it. By the looks of things, I don't think he's done his unique technology to affect the +6, because he's taking down that stable quite slowly.
He should definitely consider it, as light cavalry of +6 attack versus buildings is hilarious. One of the most fun things I had playing around with the Burmese during the beta. This is such a crazy game. What I like about it is it really showcases the strengths and weaknesses of both of these civilizations, as we've had so many momentum flips. But I think that DauT might be in a position to finally close this one out, because Nicov just has no economy to speak of.
No, absolutely. I agree. And I think that the biggest thing here is that both civs are so different, yet the game is still so balanced right now. They're both a completely different playstyle, but it's actually flip-flopping all over the place, and it's really entertaining. Nicov, though, look at this. On the far left side of the map, he's actually found another gold mine, so he might be able to salvage something here still.
Everyone get your Wololo comeback emotes out, because this game is never over. It is going to be 5 hours long at this rate. But we saw those Arambai actually doing a respectable amount of damage to that town center. Kind of like a Tarkin Conquistador hybrid thing.
Yeah.
DauT still just tearing through this eco.
Oh yeah, and on the right side as well, he's got this Arambai here. He just killed a bunch of vills, and he's looking to do more damage as well. Nicov just doesn't have the food income at the moment, I feel. He's trying to reseed farms and try to farm on this left side, but there's been too much disruption. He doesn't have the food income, and without the food, he can't be making those two-handed swordsmen. I think DauT's closing this one out. DauT, 180 population, Nicov on 130, and Nikov's population is falling quite quickly as well.
The only thing this game is missing is mana per cavalry, so we can just see those ranged cavalry units just decimate all of those buildings. This could be the end of the game for Nicov. He just doesn't have the economy to support any sort of production. And this is one of the ways that you need to deal with the Malay two-handed swordsman spam in the late game, is by just cutting off their food supply. On the left side, Nicov losing control of this gold mine. There goes his last bastion of hope.
Completely. And yeah, Nicov here just gonna basically run out of resources and starve. That's basically what it comes down to. But when you just look at that minimap, this is what you get when you put two of the world's best players on Age of Empires 2. Like, the minimap, whenever I play a 1v1, even if it's 3 hours long, the minimap is never this full. It's crazy.
By the way, I can sympathize with your cough, as everybody that I know has had this just horrible lingering cough now for the last few weeks.
Oh yeah.
I'm finally mostly back to normal. So yeah.
Yeah, I was ill. I was ill 3 weeks ago, and I still have the cough now, and I'm trying to shake it. But yeah, casting maybe not the best choice, but you know, we got to do what we got to do. So DauT looking good, but Nikov's still kind of getting a little army together here and pushing him back once again.
That's the power of those Malay discounted two-handed swordsmen. How many farmers does he actually have? I have to check this, as this is not the strongest economy I've seen, but it's good enough. He has
32.
Unless this hasn't updated for me, it says 32. Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
He's hiding them all over the map.
How does he have 32 farmers? I mean, what? We know the Southeast Asian civs were good at farming, but I mean, how does he have 32 right now? I don't know.
If you go to his perspective, we can see a rather unimpressive economy here. He's floating absolutely nothing in the vein of StarCraft 2. However, in this case, he wishes he was floating at least something of anything.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have said that better. Wishing he was floating something of anything. That's a great point right there. Yeah, he's dropping down 110 population, and although yes, these hubs are actually being pretty effective right now, chewing through these light cavalry, Nicov just, I don't know, is he going to have the economy to support this game going into the well, we're already at the long term, but, you know, the longer term. DauT's still with a huge population lead, and look at this TC on the right side right now. Nikov's going to lose that, I think, to these capped rams, and I mean, all these villagers are going to die. What little economy Nicov had is certainly going to be reduced even further as that TC just crumbles and the villagers get massacred over here.
He's just pulling a resident spot, cover the map in town centers, never die, but it's certainly not going to work here as he's dropped below 100 population, which I believe is the first time in an incredibly long time. He's doing some great raiding on the left-hand side of the map. Nicov just trying to bring DauT's economy back down to his own level, but he has so much that he has to chew through to get to that main economy. I'm not sure if he'll have enough time.
No, completely agree, and I think Nicov here is on his last legs, to be honest. He is struggling. He is still making those Karambit warriors, and like we said, they create very quickly, and they are very cheap, so he is able to poke above 100 population again, but I don't foresee Nicov having a long-term plan here, and I'm very curious about the scores, because there's been some very strange-looking scores this tournament so far. I'm genuinely curious if the scores are flipped right now.
That's interesting.
There's no way that Nicov has more points than DauT in this game.
I completely agree, especially considering when you're playing the Malay, you're going for an even more exaggerated Goths approach where you are more than okay with throwing away your units, which you think would negatively impact his scores. I imagine he's lost so many of them, and yet he's very far ahead. I wonder if, once again, during the last minute with patch 4.8, we saw some weird changes to score. I can't believe that Nicov has like a 4,000-point lead.
No, there's no way. I mean, okay, maybe we will look at the achievements at the end of the game, but there's no way right now that Nicov has more score. I think something's bugged out there, to be honest, but we saw this in previous games as well. The player who was losing had the highest score, like, consistently. So I'm wondering if the scores are actually flipped. Just a general sort of observation there, but I think DauT's going to close this out now. He's got a lot of Arambai on this left-hand side. He's really put them to great use, and he's going to tear through these buildings on the left. He's raiding on the right with these light cavalry, and Nicov basically has nothing. Well, we've said this for a while, and he's still managed to find something, but he really does have nothing left.
The way to go when you're playing from behind is to keep spreading out your economy, just trying to carve a niche for yourself on any location on the map. Slowly claw your way back in the game and do some raiding to equalize it, which Nicov is trying. It's just, it's too little too late. It's going to be very difficult for him to possibly do enough damage to DauT to even things out. And unfortunately for him, the victory condition this game is not the highest score.
Yeah, sadly not. And even if it was, I'm very questionable questioning whether or not Nicov genuinely has the highest score right now. On the right side, I mean, this is so funny. You were saying, like, spread yourself out, rebuild your economy on the far corners of the map. Look at where Nikov's building a TC on the southeast right there, just on that wood line. Just, casual TC. Just get some more wood from somewhere. Nicov certainly hasn't given up yet, and he's in it to win it. But honestly, just realistically looking at the situation, I don't see how DauT could fail to close this one out here as he starts to take down these castles and Nikov's possibility of making these Karambit warriors.
Yeah, it's really the only civ that I would expect to be able to possibly pull a comeback in the situation would be the Malay, because they're incredibly cheap Karambit warriors just as a sort of raiding tool and the two-handed swordsman. He has done a reasonable amount of damage to DauT's economy on the right side of his base.
Yeah.
Like I said, like we keep saying, it would take an absolute miracle for Nicov to possibly pull this one back. DauT doesn't have that great of an economy, but he has a much better one. He's at 160 population, steadily dropping, but Nicov is so very low. He has no answer to these trebuchets. He can't possibly pull this one back.
Yeah, there's no way he can stop these trebs. If he runs anything at them, the Arambai are just going to chew them up from behind. So, yeah, I mean, bad news for Nicov right there, and DauT's building some forward siege workshops as well to push forward a little more. Now, Nicov did do a little bit of good raiding on this right side. He killed a few villagers from DauT, actually, on this wood line here. But DauT's aware of that now, and he will respond to it as well. Meanwhile, he will continue pushing forward on the left. So, DauT just slowly but surely pulling ahead. And look at the difference in score now, right? Nikov's gained 2,000 score, and DauT's only gained 1,000, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, wait.
Well, he's
you should
just
see the other guy.
Like 2 hours to die like this.
Oh,
Almost
I know,
at
right? If there's any time where that taunt was more appropriate, it was right then.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicov is just that good. He can sustain all these losses, drop below 100 population, and only gain score. Oh man, Nicov, like he's doing some seriously well executed raiding, but it's just not gonna be enough.
I agree.
He's holding on though.
I agree.
You just can't kill the trebuchets. That's the thing that's going to seal the deal, I think. He's inevitably going to lose all of his castles.
Yeah, DauT on the right side raiding now as well with the light cavs here, and Morville's going to go down over there. Nikov's responding with halbs. This is the thing, right? I don't get how they can do this. It always amazes me how expert players play the late game. Just a couple of scouts in his eco, and he's immediately responding with halbs. And he's got no resources in the bank, but he's still immediately responding with halbs. It's fantastic to see. But yeah, like we say, with this last castle going down, what can Nicov really do here? Apart from gain some more score, of course.
It is absolutely crazy that Nicov has somehow managed to not die for the last 20 minutes and still able to defend himself with those halberdiers. Absolutely nuts, but DauT, he's coming in on the top side. That's a large army of elite skirmishers. That's going to be very difficult for him to remove. And it's just those two trebuchets and the relics for DauT. That Burmese team bonus really showing its worth here. And these Arambai in the late game are difficult to touch with trash units.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And these elite Karambit warriors as well. I'm wondering how effective they are versus skirms. I guess we will find out. Very effective, it seems. Okay. Nice. Once again, Nicov defends. Wow. And would you believe it? Nikov's at 129 pop. His population has increased.
What?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And I part of it I attribute to so Karambit Warriors, they have 2 pierce armor and they have plate mail armor, so that's pretty good. Yeah. I think I have the music on in the background. Is this like a new song?
Oh yeah, there's new music. There's new music. It's good. It's good.
Nice.
I swear I just heard some sheep being discovered. That can't be possible. But yeah.
Oh, I heard that too.
Oh, okay. Someone just found some sheep. Those sheep that we saw earlier have just been taken over. On this left side, though, look at this DauT losing this gold. I mean, this gold is still here, and they're both still fighting for it. DauT in the middle. He's lost his Arambai. He's genuinely lost his army. What is going on? Nikov's actually pulling it back. Genuinely.
I can't believe it. I was wondering what the delay was with this match starting. This is one of the best matches of Age of Empires to have ever spectated, and what a pleasure it is to co-cast it with you today. What the hell is going on? Nicov is actually clawing his way back in the game. Only the Malay can do this with the two-handed swordsman and the Karambit warriors. What?
Yeah, but he's got no castles left, right? He's not going to be able to make the Karambit warriors anymore. And these guys have actually been pretty damn good. These guys have actually saved his ass quite a few times. Nicov, though, gonna kill the remaining Arambai here. Gonna clean up these scums. On the left side, DauT responding, retaking his gold for like the 7th time now. And those sheep have been refound again. There they are in Nikov's base. Oh, I love it. These sheep have just witnessed the bloodiest battle of their entire short lives. Or in fact, I guess I should say long lives. We're an hour and a half in game, which must be at least 700 years, right?
Oh my god, yes. What an absolute spaghetti fest.
Oh,
I think
it's
so
GG.
That without a castle, Nicov can't make the Karambit warriors anymore, which has just been keeping him in the game. DauT keeping up, but he's gonna call GG.
Yeah, I think Nicov there. Okay, let's be honest. Nicov could have switched back into two-handed swordsman, and we could have seen that game go a little longer. He could have drawn it out some more, but I think he did the sensible thing. He was losing on all fronts, I guess. I mean, he kind of wasn't actually losing on all fronts, but, you know, DauT was raiding very effectively. Nikov's economy was incredibly spread, and with losing these castles, like we said, no more Karambit warriors, no more cheap get-out-of-jail-free cards, he was eventually just whittled down, slowly but surely, piece by piece, and DauT secures himself that victory. Can we put that victory down to DauT's relics, or could we put it down to basically the entire game, how it played out? Because they both countered each other and had this back and forth for so long, but in the late game I really feel like it was the relics.
Oh yeah, I think both players here, Nicov and DauT, executed everything so very well. A lot of great back and forth here as players were learning a lot about the strengths and weaknesses of their own civilizations, but yeah, it's that invisible power of those relics that's very steadily giving DauT the edge that he needs to actually close out the game but still lose and score.
Yeah, incredible.
Which is what really matters.
Yeah, I mean, the score is ultimately what matters at the end of the day. We've got 1 minute and 40 seconds. Nili is going to be doing some analysis of this game. But before we hop over to Nili here, I want to have a look at the achievements and figure out exactly how Nicov had that higher score. Apparently, Nicov had the units killed advantage with 1,200 units killed, losing at 1,020. Wow, that's a lot of units right there.
And a largest army that is so close to each other with 92 to 91. I attribute a lot of this to, DauT only having padded archer armor for his elite skirmishers. God, what a crazy game that was. We can tell it was just so close. And if you look at the timeline, can't believe he held on for so long.
Yeah, even the timeline shows that it was fairly even throughout. And honestly, like, just look at this. Look at this economy, for example. Sorry, not economy. I was looking at military. Nicov, right? Look at that. 63 buildings lost. That's just huge rating from DauT at the end there. That was awesome. And tech-wise, unsurprisingly, Nicov was actually first to every age, and that's just that 100% faster upgrade speed coming into play, of course. Nicov had 10 additional researches as well. Interesting. That's a really big discrepancy there.
Yeah, that is. And we see if we go to the Society tab, that 6,234 relic gold collected for DauT, you can make a lot of military units with over 5,000 gold.
Difference, yeah, 5,000 gold difference. But okay, guys, we are going to throw it over to Nubford now. He's going to go over the highlights of that game, so we can throw it over to our expert analyst. He is going to be giving you some more information about what exactly happened right there.
Yep, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll be right back.
Wow, guys, what a great game and what a great cast here by Resonance 22 and ZeroEmpires. Zach actually said Malay are like Vikings, and I couldn't agree more. Let's go into, for me, the key point of this whole tournament, of this whole game. It was, we are in mid-Imperial Age. Nicov fought his way back because he had great mangonel shots and had great micro, and now we're in a scenario that he's basically maxed out, and DauT is building, let's call it, questionable units. Skirms, Elite Arambai, and very unupgraded Light Cav. How Malay work is, they're super strong at the start, then they get extremely weak, like Vikings or like Teutons without gold or something, and in the end they get extremely good if no player has any access to gold. But that wasn't the case here. So Malay kind of need to finish the game earlier. Let's see how it happened. Now, Nicov should have pushed here, and he was doing so great. He was getting the traps, and he had a huge amount of Arbalest. And this is the moment where you need to push. You need to build side attacks, over here, over here. He had the eco. Here was pop limit. He was banking resources. Down at the same time was losing unit after unit, didn't even have a population for 200, and the Arbalest are just killing him. Nicov had at one point 700 stone as well, just an offensive castle. There was no traps around, and this was the moment when Nicov should have pushed and ended the game. Look at this, he gets so many kills, and it was so good, but yeah, Nicov just not closing it out here. Malay is so bad at Imperial Age. The only thing I think Nicov could have done better was he was fighting against the hill most of the time. Just let onagers get out of this hill, take the hill on your own. bombard cannons, traps, and arbalests with onagers and battle, and it would have been the easy GG. And after this, without having any chance to go on cavalry on your own, having no champions, having no real good unique unit, but for some raids, you just can't win an Imperial Age. So Nicov just pushing it out here, maybe some halberdiers, maybe some onagers, just arbalests only wasn't the right choice, I believe. And therefore he just sold Nico advantage and gave DauT the chance to just hold here. DauT obviously lost so many units and he sacrificed to buy some more time. And you look at this, there's perfect positioning here and lots of killing and very cost efficient, but cost efficiency is the most important thing because he needed to end this game here or he would have lost like he did. That's it from me. Thank you so much and stay tuned for the next great game again with 122 and ZeroEmpires.
All right, it seems like Nopeford's mic was a little bit out there. I've let him know, so next time around he should be fixing his microphone so you guys can hear him properly. But what a great game that was. So we're going to be right